Guys, after subscribing to this channel, please make sure that you also press the bell icon so that no notification, no new video of mine, any educational video, is missed by anybody.
Okay. So I welcome once and all everybody for this class tonight, and this is going to be our last paper, paper number 3. And we'll be discussing about this DNB diploma paper, paper number 3, as I saw that this is like, a little different from what it was in paper number 1 and 2. It was slightly more tricky, slightly more advanced. The questions that were asked were more about recent advances. Now, when this kind of question comes, okay, this is about etiopathogenesis of tuberculosis. I'll just blow up for everybody to see, and then I'll put it back in the place. So here, what they're trying to say is that how does this TB start? So first of all, what happens that the infection, it occurs when a person inhales the droplet nuclei, okay, containing the tubercle bacilli, and they reach the alveoli of the lung. This is how it happens. See, this is a very, very basic question. I would say this is an undergraduate level question, but since it was the first question asked, you have to make an impression, right? So what better impression than writing like this? Okay, see, what happens is examiner loves to see flowcharts and algorithms and something which makes it easy for them to understand whether you know the answer or you don't know the answer. As simple as that. So I'm just trying to make this answer. This also, see, this is not a very what do I say, a lot of effort did not go into making this answer, because this is a very, very basic concept of your undergraduate level, and I do expect everybody to already know this, but how to present it is what I'm trying to tell you. So what happens is that the infection, when it occurs when a person inhales the droplet nuclei, okay, and they reach the alveoli of the lung. So then these tubercle bacilli then just by the alveolar macrophages, which is very much expected whenever a new infection gets inside the body. The defense mechanism starts to ingest it, which is the local macrophages. The earliest phase of the primary tuberculosis that happens in the first 3 weeks is a small number of bacilli. They might start multiplying intracellularly, and they're released when the macrophages die. Correct? So they're not totally dead by the macrophages. They undergo a little dormant stage, and then they start multiplying again. If alive, these bacilli, they may spread by the way of lymphatic channels to distant tissues, and they start multiplying there. So you must have heard about this TB of bone and your peritoneum, pelvic TB and stuff. Then we have a mounting of the cell-mediated immunity, CMI. This occurs 3 weeks after the exposure. So the T cell mediated macrophages, they get activated, okay, and they start killing these bacilli. And here is when the granuloma, the famous granuloma of the TB starts forming, because here, in addition to stimulating the macrophages to kill the mycobacteria, the T cell response orchestrates the formation of granulomas, and then the caseous necrosis takes in place, and then you have the proper granuloma formed against these dividing bacilli. This is how the granulomas are formed. This is how the etiopathogenesis of genital TB starts taking place. And this is not a genital TB. Anywhere this TB goes, this is where we just discussed over here, that wherever the tubercle bacilli are going into any distant space, this is what happens over there. The T cell mediated immunity starts mounting a response and starts killing the bacteria, and also start forming a granuloma on the way. All right. Then there was asked the new ART Act. See, they love to ask the DNB people, especially in the last paper. They love to ask you about the acts, the bills, and everything. So the ART Act, I am very sure that this question is going to come even henceforth in future. So be prepared with this answer. The ART, and you will not get this answer so beautiful anywhere. You keep reading the ART Act, I think 10,000 times you'll not be able to write down an answer. And as orchestrated as this answer is, as very well organized as this answer is, because I've just touched upon the most important aspects, and even they are very difficult to register in your mind. So anyways, ART was the ART and surrogacy bill, actually they were started, they came in together. They've been passed by the parliament in December 2021, and they were gazetted in 25th January 22. So it was our new ART Act 2022, and a notification has been issued in March 2022. Basically, why do we require this ART Act is because we need to regulate and we need to supervise the ART clinics, because a lot of miscreants can take advantage of this particular process in a very different way. Now you know that ART clinics are now available in this 2-tier, 3-tier cities as well. And everywhere you do not have ethical practices. So they have the access to excellent technology, but they can use it for their own selfish needs and motives. So there have been multiple instances where people have come to ART infertility clinics to say that we want only a male child. We want IVF, but only for a male child. So that's just one small aspect of how this important thing can be misutilized. So that's just one thing. So we need to regulate and we need to supervise these ART clinics, and not just that, the assisted reproductive technology as a whole, ensuring safe practice, ethical practice, and regulating the supervision of research and development in the field of ART. So they have defined what ART is. They have defined what is ART bank, what is commissioning couple. So these 2-3 definitions, if you just write down, they will have an idea that okay, this girl has read the ART Act. So basically, bank means an organization which will be responsible for collection of the gametes, the storage of the gametes, and the embryos, and supply of the gametes to the ART clinics or their parents. Now, even that has to be very specifically organized. Anybody who's having a cryopreservation or an embryo preservation cannot use that embryo for donation. Okay, even if it is being used in that particular way, it has to go through a proper channel. Otherwise, you know how difficult adoption laws are in our country. In the same way, it becomes, this is like adoption only, right? You're donating it, the other party is taking it, so it's at a very incipient stage. The level of cellular gamete level is starting. So you have to be very, very specific there as well. If adoption becomes very important, so does this become very important. So if you start commercializing this process over here, you go into very, very bad hands, right? So you have to have a law there. Then commissioning couple means the infertile married couple who approach an assisted reproductive technology clinic for obtaining their services. So that's a commissioning couple. They are giving you money to get ART services out of you. So first of all ART clinics, all ART banks have to be duly registered under this act. Okay, an application for registration shall be made by the ART clinics accompanied by the application fee so and so. If you remember this, it's fine. If you don't remember, it's also okay. Every clinic or bank which is conducting ART, okay, within a period of 60 days from the date of establishment should apply for registration. That's very, very important. Unless and until this is registered, please, this does not have any say in our country. Renewal is also very, very important. You have to renew every 5 years. That becomes very important. Every time you're renewing, this paperwork gets scrutinized all over again. No clinics or banks shall be registered under this act unless the appropriate authority is satisfied that such clinics and banks are in a position to provide such facilities. That's very, very important. So there'll be a proper, process of scrutinizing, seeing what all is going on there, what not is going on there, and a lot of other things are being seen. So these are the things which have been, utilized to make, things organized in a way so that you're able to get the ethical practices out of them rather than commercialization of a very, very wrong chain of events. Okay. Now, if it's a 5-mark answer, this and this is sufficient. Okay. If it's more than that, I'll be giving you a little more material to it. When I'll finally upload the PPT, I'll add 1 or 2 slides more, so that just in case it comes over a bigger answer, you will be able to write down at least something. All right. Then there's a question on physiology of ovulation. Everybody who has seen my slides knows a lot that this question, physiology of ovulation, has been asked 2-3 times before. It's usually a question asked in the first paper in the DNB mains. Yeah, one more very important thing. A lot of students, because obviously your exams are right on the corner, DNB diploma students, they have been approaching me, asking me for answer bank, but only for DNB diploma. Now, this is a very, very, you should not go in for such shortcuts in life. Because first of all, you know that DNB diploma is a newer course. Everybody knows that. How many exams of DNB diploma do we really have that you want to practice from those meager 2-3 papers? First of all. Second thing is that even if you do want to go for very small preparation for just, you want to be specific for DNB diploma only, what guarantee do you have that questions from the DNB main paper will not and never be asked? If you see these questions, okay, I think all the questions that I've covered up till now, okay, except for even for this, have been asked in the DNB mains. So restricting yourself, because Obviously, from now onwards, my DNB diploma bank is also going to increase in probably the same manner the DNB main papers bank has increased. But if you're getting an opportunity to study more, to see more questions, why are you not utilizing it? Why do you want a separate answer bank only for DNB diploma? You'll get nothing out of it because hardly any papers have been, made of DNB diploma up till now. So what practice are you going to get out of it? So that's my request to everybody. When you're trying to prepare for your exam, broaden your horizons, try to study more, because DNB, you might crack the theory but you'll be caught in the practicals, because very basic, very what do I say, easy and basic questions are asked, and you start fumbling there. That draws a very bad impression out of you. So please study properly, study, you know very easily. And when you're getting everything as a platter nowadays, to serve to you, you just have to join a good platform where you get authentic material, DNB oriented authentic material. Okay, not some spurious material from one thing taken from one university, the other one taken from the other university. One teacher caught hold of, you start make these PG students study. Neither teacher has so much interest, nor the platform is putting in any effort. The only thing is that, wow, this is a very big name and we're able to see a lot of questions and a lot of stuff from the theory course. Let's just go and join it. And at the end of the day, finally, the actual authentic DNB material is all being missed by you, and you're studying some material from some mixed universities, taught by a teacher who's not totally dedicated to teaching you in the first place. So it's very important for you to choose the right platform, and after choosing the right platform, also given your best. Okay, when we were students, we did not have the opportunity to see so much sitting at the comfort of our own home and seeing so much online, right? So when you're getting that opportunity, utilize it, guys. Now, this question, physiology of ovulation, has been asked, I don't know how many times in the DNB main paper. And this is the slide that you need to know. So I have started building up concept right from how the ovulation begins. So follicular development, and then primary follicle, secondary follicle. I have already taught you in embryology. This is not what you will write in the answer. What you'll write is just this. So basically, follicular phase, it begins with menstruation. Once the menstruation gets over, you have antral follicle starts to develop. This is the pre-ovulatory, it reaches to the pre-ovulatory follicle. The antral follicle development, it actually is dependent on the FSH. This antral follicle actually competes with other follicles, and then the dominant follicle emerges. And this dominant follicle, once it starts emerging, the other undergo atresia. They have to undergo atresia, okay? Then the dominant follicle starts secreting estrogen, inhibin, and then there is a negative feedback on FSH. It does not produce, please do not recruit any more follicles. The purpose of the cycle is achieved. We have a dominant follicle. Then finally, ovulation, because we're talking about the physiology of ovulation. So around the 14th day of a 28-day cycle, because of these rising estrogen, which is secreted by the dominant follicle, there is a positive feedback on GnRH. And there is a sudden LH surge. Because of the LH surge, there is more of proteolytic enzymes, ovary wall weakens, follicle passes through the ovary wall, luteinization of the theca and granulosa cells, and corpus luteum formation takes. Once the dominant follicle is released, the remaining part of the ovary, the theca, the granulosa cells, they undergo luteinization and they form a corpus luteum, which will bear the pregnancy if at all it so happens. And of course, post-ovulation, the oocyte is caught by the fimbriae, fallopian tube, and it remains in the metaphase 2 unless it finally is fertilized. This you do not have to write down, but this slide is what will get you the required amount of marks. And this I've just added because they've asked so many times physiology of menstruation, physiology of ovulation. So you need to know the basics. That's why I have included more study material in most of the slides.